What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Life Changers video, and this is day 10. This is going to be called A Date with Grace, written by Al Robertson. But before I get into it, I want to make a big announcement. So, over this past week, I've decided to transition from YouTube over to Spotify and make podcasts rather than videos. There is no big reason why I'm doing it. I just felt the Lord kind of tugging me in that direction. So, it's a way to start fresh. So I'm excited for the journey. Uh, I will have a link in the description below for my last podcast, which was my first podcast. And I'm going to have a link in my Instagram bio as well. If you guys want to check it out, please do so. And I'm going to post them on Facebook too. So I'm going to finish out the Life Changers series. There's 30 days in that, so we're on day 10. So 20 more videos, and then I'm done for YouTube. Done with YouTube. So episode 25 was the last episode. I'm not going to delete them. I'm just not going to do them anymore. And the Minute Mondays, they're going to stay up as well. I'm not going to continue with that either. So I'm strictly doing the podcast and finishing off the Life Changer series. And I'll do the podcast probably once, twice, maybe 3 times if I get time a week. So without further ado, let's get into this story. So it's written by Al. It's called A Date with Grace. And he's in Proverbs 11:14, and he says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety." So Billy was a young buck who had recently come to Christ and had given our family the privilege of mentoring him in his spiritual journey. As an assistant manager at a grocery store, Billy worked long hours and met all sorts of people. One evening, an attractive girl was shopping, filling her buggy with this and that. She happened to notice Billy, who, like her, was single. She got her groceries and paid and hit the road. After 15 or 20 minutes later went by, she called the store and asked to speak with the assistant manager. When Billy answered, she said, "Did you notice me when I was in your store a little while ago shopping?" I was the little blonde-headed girl that came in there. Billy, vaguely remembering her among the throng of customers he helped each day, asked if there was a problem he could help her with. "I was just thinking, if you're not doing anything," she said, "we could get together and have a date." Billy was stunned. "Really?" he gasped. "Well, let me call you back. I might work something out." This was new territory for Billy, so that his next call was to Phil for some godly advice, and Phil is Al's dad. He's writing this. Phil said, "Well, here's what you do, Billy. On your first date, bring her down to the house and we'll give her the good news about Jesus. How about that?" "I like it." The next day, Billy called the girl back and set up their date. And sure enough, Billy brought her out to Phil and Miss Kay's place. For some reason, Billy used the back way through the muddy fields, and his car was covered in solid sludge by the time he pulled in front of the house, no doubt leaving quite an impression on his date. Once inside, Phil gave the young lady the good news about the grace and forgiveness that Jesus offers to those who invite him into their heart. Throughout Phil's speech, the girl never uttered a word. She didn't even ask a single question. She just listened. When Phil was finished with his message, he concluded, "Now the ball is in your court. Think about it." She and Billy thanked him and went on their way. About 4 or 5 days went by, and Billy didn't hear a thing from her. Suddenly, she paid him a visit. I've been trying all week to get around what that old man was telling me with the whiskers about Jesus," she confessed. "You know what? I can't get around it." "What do you want to do about it?" Billy asked. "My family may disown me," she sighed, "but I've got to obey the gospel." Not only did she give her heart to Jesus, but she and Billy were later married, and I got to be the one who married them. Billy got more than a date. He got a godly wife out of the deal. I reckon the Almighty had a hand on all that, because Billy, following the truth of Proverbs 11:14, was wise enough to seek godly advice from among his community of believers. So this story isn't necessarily about dating, because when he brought in Proverbs 11:14, it's talking about relying on your other godly believers, your other godly friends. So I think it's important to have yourself some godly friends, some believers in Christ. Surround yourselves with them, because when when you're in a tough situation or something, or not necessarily a tough situation, like he wasn't in a tough situation, he just didn't know what to do, you know. This was new territory for him, like I said. He called Phil, and Phil he's a believer, obviously, um, and so Phil helped him out, and uh, she came over. He told her, he gave her the good news. Excuse me, and you know, she didn't come back, or she came back 4 or 5 days later and was like, and they ended up getting married, and the Lord definitely had His hand on that. But the moral of the story is, you know, when you're in a situation, I think it's important to rely on other godly believers. Have them help you out when it comes time. So, in you know, Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall." So when you don't have help, you fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So with Phil helping him out, he felt there was safety there. You know, he was okay. Like Phil gave him great advice. You know, and they came out, and Phil gave her the best story in the world, and talked to her about Jesus and what He can do for her, and he got a godly wife out of it. So it wasn't necessarily about dating more than it was than just, you know, finding a, a godly group of friends, you know, someone that you can rely on that believes in Christ too, because they'll probably be able to help you out in a little bit of a, I don't know, more faithful way, I guess, than someone who doesn't, you know what I mean? Um, so I hope you guys enjoyed this Life Changers video. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description of my podcast. You guys can check that out. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys like this video. Thank you guys for watching, and God bless y'all.